May 2010, in Minas Gerais, Elisa Samudio lost her life in a way that was never discovered. And the location of her body was never discovered either. Her son, still a baby, Bruno, was saved by chance and did not suffer the same fate as his mother, which can no longer be said about the fate of his father. Today, 13 years later, Bruno has grown up to become a goalkeeper. Perhaps even better than Bruno, his father, who was blamed for his mother's death and is one of the best goalkeepers of his generation. How is Bruno? How is Elisa's whereabouts unknown to this day? In June 2010, the Minas Gerais Civil Police declared goalkeeper Bruno a suspect in the disappearance of model Elisa Samudio. The player was even sent to prison on remand. Due to the repercussions of the case, Flamengo's president, Patricia Amorim, even announced that the player would be dismissed from the club, but after a summit meeting, the decision was not upheld. The investigation into the case was handed over on July 30, 2010, and the trial was held on November 19, 2012 at the Contagem Jury Court in Belo Horizonte. On November 23, 2012, the prosecution's assistants, José Artero and Sidney Mendes, believed that Luis Enrique Romeo, known as Macareo, would take the blame for Elisa Samudio's death. His case was postponed until March 2013. On March 6, 2013, Bruno admitted to killing Elisa Samudio and blamed Macareo for the crime. The statement was made at the Contagem courthouse in Minas Gerais. On March 8, 2013, Bruno was sentenced to 22 years and 3 months in prison, of which 17 years and 6 months are in a closed regime, for triple qualified homicide, ulterior motive, cruel means, and use of means that hindered the victim's defense, private imprisonment and kidnapping of Elisa and their son Bruno, and concealment of a corpse. Due to his confession, his sentence was reduced by 3 years, but increased by 6 months for being the mastermind. On May 5, 2012, Flamengo's legal vice president, Rafael De Piro, stated that the club would be open to the goalkeeper's return if he obtained a writ of habeas corpus. The request was denied on October 20th of the same year by the Superior Court of Justice. His lawyers appealed against the conviction, but the appeal was denied by the Second Chamber of the Supreme Court on June 11, 2013. On February 28, 2014, Bruno signed a contract with Montes Claros Football Club, a club that plays in the second division of the Minas Gerais State Championship. This would have required his transfer to the prison in the city of Montes Claros. However, the judge at the city's criminal executions court denied the request. In an interview with Playcar magazine, he revealed that he tried to kill himself in the first few months of his detention in the Nelson Hungria penitentiary in Contagem. My heart was full of hatred and anger. Then I decided to end my life. I didn't want to be a burden on my mother or anyone else. I attempted suicide. I tied the sheet to the vent, which is high, put it around my neck and jumped. But the rope snapped and I fell to the ground. I looked over and there was a Bible, which a policeman had given me when I was still in Rio de Janeiro. It was God who didn't allow me to kill myself. There would be no salvation from a suicide. Habeas corpus and prison. During an interview with Globosport.com, it was reported that Bruno is serving time at the APAC in Santa Luzia, in the metropolitan region of Belo Horizonte. In the closed regime, Bruno's place is bed 2 in cell 18 of block 3. Bruno is serving 22 years and 3 months for the death of Elisa Samudio in 2010. However, with progression for days worked, he could enter the semi-open regime in 2018, according to his calculations. Bruno is without a lawyer at the moment, but legal experts consulted by the report attested that it is possible for the goalkeeper to get the semi-open regime in 2018, as he himself wants. The goalkeeper received Globosport.com's report between his duties cleaning the chapel and trying out as a welder. His routine starts at 6 a.m., with 3 stops for prayer, meals, and leisure time from 6 p.m. From there, he follows games on television, with a mixture of nostalgia for Flamengo and passion for Atletico MG, the latter reflected in the socks he wore during the interview and the pants that got dirt on them from his saves and training, also recorded by the report. From the common prison system, where he spent 5 years between the Nelson Hungria and Francisco Sá penitentiaries, there were traumas and bad memories. A suicide attempt, a stab wound that left its mark, and depression treated with medication. Now he focuses on his work, courses, and training at APAC, Asociação de Proteção e Assistência ao Condenado, an NGO that manages prisons and works together with various states and their respective courts of justice to humanize the enforcement of custodial sentences. The method has many elements, but above all trust in the inmate, who is called by his name, wears a badge, doesn't wear prison uniforms, and doesn't experience the deprivation and crowding of the ordinary system. In this conversation with GlobalESport.com, Bruno didn't want to go into the details of the crime for which he was convicted, guaranteeing that he is writing a book with the true story. His friendship with Macareo is a thing of the past, and the present points to conformism with his sentence. The player also reports that he lost around 16 kilograms after his imprisonment. Imprisoned for 5 years, Bruno married his partner Ingrid Calheiros in Santa Luzia prison, Minas Gerais, on June 17, 2016. The ceremony was private and was attended by around 90 people. On February 24, 2017, Federal Supreme Court Justice Marco Aurelio Melo granted habeas corpus to the former player on the grounds that he had not been convicted in the second instance. This injunction allows the player to appeal his conviction and freedom. After gaining his freedom, Boa Esporte Clube, a soccer club from the city of Varginha, announced his hiring, confirmed on March 10, 2017, which caused national controversy. The signing was contested by several of the club's fans and others, with demonstrations coming from all over the country. Because of the repercussions, Nutrens Nutrition, one of the companies supporting the club, decided to withdraw its sponsorship of the team. On April 25, 2017, the first panel of the STF, by a majority vote, in accordance with the opinion of Justice Alexander de Moraes, rejected the injunction previously granted, on the understanding that the defense itself had asked for a provisional sentence to be issued so that goalkeeper Bruno could enjoy the benefits of the penal execution law. Semi-open regime. On July 18, 2019, he was granted progression to the semi-open regime by a decision of the Varginha court. He left prison the following day at around 7 p.m., where he now sleeps at home, in what is known as a semi-open regime. He stays out of prison from 8 p.m. until 6 a.m. Linked to drug trafficking, an investigation by the Public Prosecutor's Office of the State of Minas Gerais uncovered a friendship between Bruno and drug trafficker Antonio Francisco Bonfim Lopes, known as Nem de Rocinha. According to the investigation, Nem had Bruno as his poster boy. His friendship with the goalkeeper guaranteed the drug trafficker strong influence in sectors outside the community. Among his numerous criminal cases, Nem is responsible for the murders and concealment of the bodies of 2 young women. That's a summary of the story of former Flamengo goalkeeper Bruno. Don't miss the next videos on the channel, subscribe so you don't miss anything. Thank you.